I just finished editing a draft of a video about this cover that you see right here for this small boat. And in that video, I basically talked about how I was unhappy with this cover, that it didn't perform as advertised, that I kind of felt that the manufacturer was a little bit misleading. And I'm going to share all of that information in this video. You'll see that. But keep in mind, I was wrong, and watch all the way to the end and you'll see why I was wrong. The product that I'm talking about today is a boat cover. It's sold on Amazon.com by a company called iCover. I do have a link here in the video description just in case you're interested, but you might not want to run and purchase it right away until you've watched this whole video. Full disclosure, the product I'm talking about in this video was sent to me for free. I did not sign any kind of agreements or locked into any type of arrangements, and I wasn't committed to making any kind of video about their product. So this is a completely unbiased look at their product based on the fact that they did send it to me for free. I wanted to make this video anyway because I wanted to share with you the pros and cons of this particular product. So I picked out this cover right here in blue for my small boat. Now this is a Jon Boat cover, so it's made for a square front boat, but my boat's a V front. I figured this would work. This was the closest cover they had that matched my boat. The reason I wanted a cover for my boat is because my boat fills up with leaves and yard debris all the time because of the fact that I have to park under all these trees in my yard, and it always fills up. No matter how much I clean out this boat, it just gets filled up with garbage. Cover came in this box right here. It says it's from Cover World, but as you see, it also says iCover, and it's made in China. You know, no surprise there. And so I opened up the box, and there was this instruction sheet inside. A whole bunch of straps to strap this thing down, hold it tight on my boat hull. And then this big mesh bag, which has the boat cover inside of it. It's got a little bit of weight to it. Thing felt pretty good. And then also in the box was this coupon and information about some of their other covers. Now what I really was interested with this cover is the fact that it said waterproof heavy-duty Jon Boat cover. I liked the idea of it being waterproof because that way I could keep a lot of stuff inside of my boat under the cover. So let's open this thing up here and take a look at it. It's got some elastic around the edges of it. Feels like it's made from some pretty decent thick material. And you can see the ribbing straps that go across, which is pretty neat design. And so I started to fit it over top of my boat here. And then it came with all of these straps. And the way these straps work is they hook in on one side, and then you go underneath of the boat or underneath the boat in the trailer, clip it in the other side, and then pull the strap tight. So I attach all the straps and start pulling it tight to get the cover nice and snug. As I mentioned earlier, there were these other straps that came with it where I could strap it down to the trailer to get it even more snug, but for the first time I thought to myself, I'll just put these 4 straps on, pull it nice and tight, and we'll see how it goes. As you can see, there's a lot of extra cover here at the front because it was designed for a Jon Boat, which could be square at the front. But I feel like I have everything strapped on here pretty tight. And then as you can see, there's these other clips there where I could pull to strap that down around the back of the boat. And if the back of my boat was shaped differently, those would have been able to be latched onto something. And there's a whole lot of extra strapping material here hanging off the side, but I'm not going to cut that off just yet. I want to see how everything goes with how I have it strapped up before I trim any of this excess material down. So there we go. We've got the cover on the boat. Let's wait and see what happens once it rains. It's been raining a lot this year, so within 48 hours it had rained. And as you can see, there's puddles on top of my cover there. That's a good sign, having puddles on top of the cover. And I was actually surprised at how much it pulled the cover down as well, because I thought I had the cover on there pretty tight, so I expected a lot of the water to wash off. And as you can see down near the stern of the boat, actually, the cover was pulled inside of the boat, so some water probably washed into the boat from back there. So as I go to pull the cover off the bow of the boat, right away I notice something. The inside of this cover is very, very damp. And the front of the boat, the bow of my boat is much higher than the stern of my boat. But the inside of this cover is wet. There's water all over it. It's not just a couple of drips and a couple of drops. It's wet to the touch. And this is, the next morning after a rain. So it didn't keep everything completely dry. As I was editing this video, I thought to myself, one of the things that somebody might say would be, hey, the problem you had was the fact that the cover allowed water in because you didn't put all the clips on. And I thought that's a really good point. So I'm adding this section in now. It's several weeks later and it's rained yet again. And let me show you what's going on with the cover right now. And we're going to take a look underneath of the cover to see how it is now. First of all, you can see, once again, it rained. I believe it was the night before last. I wasn't around to get the water off right away. So we've got a pool of water up in the front here, and we've got a pool of water here in the back. But I now have the cover tight enough that, as you can see, the water is not running into the boat. And I actually have, I rigged this up in a different way, but I have this strap on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tip the front of the boat up to get the rest of the water off, and then we're going to take a look under the bow like we did before. All right, so we still got just a little bit of water there, but let me just pop off the front parts of the cover here so we can take a look. Okay, well, this is a lot better. As you can see, the boat is actually completely dry in here. And in the middle section, completely dry. Okay, so this time it's completely dry inside. This is with me letting water sit on it for a couple of days. Perhaps most of my problem was because so much water was running inside of the boat from the back of the cover. Condensation, humidity, etc. maybe is what caused it to be all wet inside of the boat. Because now it's dry inside of the boat and these puddles have been on here for a day, at least. So this is one of those situations where user error on my part could have caused me to do a very poor review of a product that probably is a pretty good product based on initial impressions and the fact that I maybe didn't use the product properly. Maybe all of the water that poured into the back of the boat because of me not having the cover on correctly is what caused all of the moisture in there and all of the condensation and for it to be completely wet inside. This cover could actually probably keep everything dry in my boat. So there is a link in the description and I feel pretty good about this product now. And this just goes to show you that sometimes reviewers and people who endorse things may get it wrong. They may have made a mistake in how they use something. And sometimes whenever we read reviews where people say something is terrible, maybe they didn't use it properly. So it does make it harder to make a good educated decision when somebody says something is great and then somebody else says something is awful. Or in this case, where I have said both of those things at the same time. So enough about this boat cover. Here's a video you should watch next. It's a good video. You should watch it. Next. Like right now. Go ahead. Watch this video.